All right, seriously, I need to change these colors a little bit. It's not matching the vibe. Where we at? Can we get an orange? Is that an orange? Ooh, I think that's an orange. Let's see. Oh, definitely messing up a lot of stuff. Oh, that's blue. Wow. Oh, hey, that looks like it's orange. And rightfully so, because Bitcoin's actually working. Bitcoin's actually changing the world. The average number of monthly transactions across African countries has shown a 1,386.7 increase from January 2021 to January 2022. The number of users have also increased significantly, showing a 2,467.2% spike over the same period. The average amount per transaction, however, has decreased, indicating that the adoption of this technology is taking place not only for large transfers, but for small payments. I don't know about you guys, but it looks like Bitcoin is working. More than 88.5% of cryptocurrency transactions made by Africans are cross-border transfers. The reason is what? Low fees? Bitcoin with low fees? What? In many cases, users pay 0.01% of the overall amount of transactions transferred in cryptocurrencies. This is actually crazy in solving a lot of problems, right? The latest data collected by KuCoin reveals that crypto transactions have increased by 1,250 to about 2,670% over the past year. That's a big gap. That's a big gap, okay? Such growth dynamics are also related to the low values that have been observed during previous periods, as the amount of cryptocurrency transactions in Africa constitutes 2.8% of the global volumes. That's absolutely ridiculous. Guys, Bitcoin's working. It served as a hedge against monetary inflation. It's definitely serving in countries where their currency is hyperinflated. How many times do we have to see these corrupt governments enslave people with their money? If I can't transact, I can't send my money to somebody else, how can I survive? If I work for money and I can't use my money, I have essentially worked for free. We must abolish all of this. And as you can see clearly from the data, Bitcoin is working. Keep watching. What's going on, everybody? Alex back with another video, back in my bag, refocus, realign for what matters most, and here's more data for you. Unfortunately, not everybody has access to the necessary equipment. Only 45% of adults own smartphones, and just 33% can access the internet on a stable basis. That's in Africa. That's crazy. There's going to be more internet that's going to happen, guys. And it's crazy that in Europe, only 87% still have stable internet and only 81% in the United States. So that just means that more people will have access to internet and smartphones and devices and computers that will attribute to more cryptocurrency adoption. Again, let me say that again. More people on planet Earth will have access to internet, which will contribute to more internet adoption. Only 45% of adults own smartphones and just 33% can access the internet. Imagine when everybody in Africa can access the internet. Bitcoin's going crazy because they're doing about 2.8% of all transactions in the world. I want you, that can go to 10%. Just Africa alone can 5x Bitcoin. That's insane. Now, if we look over here, I do want to point this out because this is called the G20 currencies. And basically how it works is as we see economic uncertainty in weaker countries, they will start to topple over and be forced to make big decisions like, financial sanctions or adopting, I don't know, Bitcoin as legal tender. These dramatic moves will happen in other places first. And the reason for it is because the United States owns the world reserve currency. They pretty much own how all of money is transacted, okay? And basically, they're the last to fall. They are the last domino. Other countries will show insecurity first. We see it in Canada. We're already seeing it in, Australia, different places. They will essentially crack first, and then the last person to crack, which is the big power, will be the United States of America. And I do want to point this out because we're going to go over this more and more. Now, right here, this is the article I got all of that, information from in the beginning of the video. The number of crypto users in Africa grew by 2,500% in 2021. I think that's significant. I think Bitcoin's playing exactly the way it's supposed to play. In 2021, there's been a significant amount of money printed. I think I forgot the statistic. It was like 75 or 80% of all the US dollars in existence was printed in 2021, and Bitcoin did numbers and did very well in 2021. So it's still playing out, which brings me to my next point here. Countries, weaker countries, will adopt Bitcoin because they're forced. And we see this again in El Salvador, and we have the president of El Salvador saying this right here, which is crazy. Adding exactly adding exactly to what I was saying before. The most powerful country in the world is falling so fast that it makes you rethink what are the real reasons. Something so big and powerful can't be destroyed so quickly unless the enemy comes from within. And we see Bloomberg talking about inflation. We see a lot of websites talking about inflation more and more because, again, the Federal Reserve mismanaged our money. Guys, I'm not like a hater of America. I just hate the fact that the Federal Reserve is a private entity not held accountable by any government restriction, okay? They put up these guidelines, right? And these this economic policy, but none of it works, right? It's this private company that basically has this power seat in the whole entire world. They have this powerful, strategic advantage where essentially they can dilute the savings of everybody's dollar. And being that, United States has a world reserve currency, they're essentially diluting everyone's savings. So it's like, if this is not slavery, I don't know what else is, to be honest. And I don't like using that word, but it's real. It's true. It's honest. Which brings me to the next point. If we come over here, we see people in office, right? We see people that make laws, basically saying things like this. It's aligned with American values and it will strengthen the dollar, right? We're going to see more powerful people. We're going to see more billionaires. We're going to see more people in political office adopt Bitcoin because they have to. It will be career suicide if they go against the thing that's going to be the next internet. Like, imagine all the people that were trying to stop the internet. Do you really think they're around right now? Do you think they're in office? Do you think anyone takes them serious? No, because they were wrong. And you have to be right for people to follow you. So in a longer time horizon, people are going to save their careers. This is why you see a lot of people with credibility. By the way, we have a very, very high credibility interview that I did with Michael. You guys can watch the last video I did, and I'll leave it up right here so you can watch it. But basically, he said the same thing. We have to adopt Bitcoin, and he said also a good hedge against inflation is apartments, right? So again, if you're poor, if you're rich, Bitcoin's the answer, and pretty much through the board. And it's political suicide to go against it at this point, right? So we go over price action very briefly on a long-term time perspective. And the reason why I want to go over this is because there's a couple of variables that move the market, right? There's these big events that usually happen. So it's typically, I boiled it down to 4. It can be, there could be some gray areas, but usually how it works right here is we have big exchange launches or sometimes an issue. Sometimes we have hacks, but usually it's in a launch or a hack, right? And then we have main character. It doesn't have to be a person. Sometimes it's person, sometimes it's a country, sometimes it's a billionaire, right? Sometimes, it could be, it's usually a person, but it could be a country or an entity that either pumps the market or FUDs the market out, right? And then we have forks that usually happen at the bottom of Bitcoin. And the reason why it usually happens at the bottom is because this is when the security of Bitcoin is at its lowest. And that's the best time to fork Bitcoin. And they've tried it multiple times. They haven't taken down their original Bitcoin yet, but that usually happens at the bottom of the market. And then we have meme coins, right? This is a new attack vector, and I could probably not just meme coins, but NFTs and meme coins together. This is kind of a new attack vector they've been using, and they used it back over here. They actually, Vitalik Buterin donated like $1 billion of Shiba Inu, and then the whole market dumped, right? They used everything here. They banned Bitcoin in China. Elon Musk, was saying that Bitcoin wasn't environmentally friendly. And then, we also had Vitalik Buterin donating like $1 billion worth of Shiba Inu to the COVID relief fund, which is like basically dumping it, right? So the whole market dumped around this time. They pulled out like all 3 or 4 weapons, except for the Bitcoin fork. They pulled out pretty much everything at this point. And this is what moved the market down. So I just wanted to point that out so you guys understand the history of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. This is very important. Now, another chart I've been looking at pretty aggressively is the BLX, which is Bitcoin, and the S&P 500. So if this chart goes up, that means Bitcoin is doing better than the S&P 500. And when this chart goes down, that means the S&P 500 is doing better than Bitcoin. Now, if you don't know what the S&P 500 is, very simply put, it's the top 500 biggest tech companies. It's not just tech, it's the most innovative companies, the top 500, and they're all indexed together to give you a value. So against, all of the best stock companies, right, which is typically where people invest, they invest in the S&P 500 as an index. Bitcoin just destroys it. And even in recent history right now, we're creating some significant support, and it looks like we're definitely going to make our way up to here. I'm pretty confident of that. So again, Bitcoin's still serving better than stocks are as a hedge against inflation. And if we look even deeper, instead of just looking at Bitcoin and we look at the total, basically the total is all of cryptocurrencies compared to the S&P 500. So this is the whole cryptocurrency market, right? Going up, the whole cryptocurrency market is doing better than the S&P 500. When this goes down, the S&P 500 is doing better. So when we see this, you can see even more significant support, even higher lows, right? Look how high this is. Higher highs, right? And I really do think that this is significant support, and it's showing sometimes some signs of strength that we're going to potentially move up to here, right? I do believe this, and summertime's coming around. Guys, I'm getting more and more bullish. In my group, I made the official call that I'm 65% bullish, 35% bearish. And I will move as so. I will be buying some altcoins. I already have. I will be buying some Bitcoin. And this is long-term time horizon. So I'm not talking about not even months. I'm talking about maybe the next year. I think Bitcoin will continue to move up and do very well. Now, obviously, we have to look at other things. Like let's look at Ethereum versus BTC very quickly. And you can see that this is also showing some signs of strength, right? It shows people that are taking a little bit more risk. They want to buy Ethereum right now. Look, Ethereum significantly jumped up. So again, showing that people are still taking a little bit of risk. It's not just all safety in cryptocurrency, right? Which is a sign of the bull market not being over. Also, if we look at Bitcoin dominance here, Bitcoin dominance is tanking, right? So people, again, showing signs that they want to buy altcoins, they want to buy Ethereum, right? And the Bitcoin dominance, like I've said before, is never going to go back to 50%. I really don't think it's going to go back to 50%. And we will likely make our way down to here, which is, in my personal opinion, really good for altcoins, which again, a sign of strength in the market. I've been saying this over and over again, and I'm just saying it again. Guys, I don't know for sure how long it's going to play out, but I don't see a full bear like significant run, maybe worst case 30K BTC. But even in that case, man, I don't even care. I'll buy now, I'll buy then, I'll keep buying. I don't care. I'm coming to that conclusion. There was short-term discrepancies where I tried to do shorter time frames, and I've realized that this is just not my It's not my net worth. It's not my personality type. It's not my skill set. I am a long-term trader. I usually scalp for 3 to 4 month time periods, as well as, longer time horizons. I'm a spot trader, and I will stick to that, and I will continue to provide you guys with very high information on that perspective, that specific perspective, because I think that's the best for me. Now, if we continue to look at what's going on in the world, we see mortgage rates jumping above 4%, which is signaling a potential housing bubble. Now, for me, I think I'm buying a house soon, but it's not for investment purposes. It's really because I want some stability for my family, for my 2 girls. So I will probably buy a house, and I'm going to try to go cheap on purpose. So I don't get overexposed, because I could be buying the all-time high of real estate right now. And then if the market dumps, then I'll buy again, and I'll buy a very expensive house when the market dumps. That's my plan. But again, we see supply chain issues happening in other G20 currencies. If I bring it back over here, again, Canada is one of the G20 currencies. So, we saw it already with the truckers. When in doubt, people adopted Bitcoin, right? When there was this ultimatum event, people adopted Bitcoin, right? Same thing in Ukraine. When there was this ultimatum event, people adopt Bitcoin. So it's not really, and again, I talk about education all the time, and this is what I've set my life journey to do, is educate people about crypto. And that's the greatest in my personal opinion. But when people are forced into a corner and they have to do something, like these hyperinflated countries, supply chain issues, economic conditions, wars, all these things force people into a corner. And it's like, hey, you have to. There's no other bet, right? And if you look at the last interview, even talking to people with credibility, it's the same thing for him. It's like, Bitcoin is the hedge against monetary inflation. Bitcoin is the hedge against, Bitcoin is the hedge. No one's gonna buy gold when stuff hits the fan. When things hit the fan and you can't go get food from your grocery store, no one's gonna buy gold. Who's gonna buy gold? They're going to buy Bitcoin. And they're going to transact in Bitcoin. That will likely happen. It's peer-to-peer, right? It's much easier. It's much safer, in my personal opinion. You can get robbed for gold. It's harder to rob Bitcoin. Again, more manufacturer issues in Russia. So pay attention. There's going to be a lot of economic uncertainty. Also, there's one thing I did want to talk about because I have been talking about it with my parents as well as myself. You know, I'm relatively well off. I'm not, you know, super rich, but I'm definitely a millionaire, and I don't have health insurance. And this is coming from, again, a professional health insurance advisor. I have a license for health insurance in 27 states, and I do not currently own health insurance. So this is followed up with, hey, you got to be healthy. Like, you can't just not have health insurance and then not care about your diet, not work out, not do anything, right? You still need to fix your life, right? But the whole point is, you know, if you want to save money, if you're trying to make money, I mean, that's a good area. That's a really good area. If you fix your diet, you fix your health and you become healthy and avoid the hospital, right? If you just avoid the hospital and pay everything out of pocket, well, you can do the investing for yourself. If you understand how health insurance companies work, essentially what they do is they take your premium, they take your payment, they invest it, and then they just pay out when you need it, right? So it's like the same thing. If you can invest it, right, in potentially crypto or stocks or whatever, or even in a house, right, and you could do better than they can, which I know a lot of you can because they're not investing in cryptocurrencies. Insurance companies are definitely not doing that. If you could do better than they can, then essentially you can insure yourself, right? You can insure yourself. And this is what I've been doing. And I'm trying to get my parents to move over that way. And maybe it doesn't happen because they're a little bit older. And again, maybe for certain people, you don't want to do this. But I would say if you're young, if you're under the age of 30 and you're relatively healthy with no predetermined conditions, you'll be fine. And you can save all of this money and you can use it for if you do have to have that insurance, you know, surgery or whatever the case is, you do have to have, you know, this big thing that costs $50,000. Well, you've been saving for the past 5 years and you've been investing. So that money is more than $50,000 and you can pay it. Or as you can see here, credit reporting agencies will wipe out most net medical debt, right? And this is specifically for people that live in the United States. Like, if you live in the United States, man, they're not gonna let you die, right? It's just fear. They try to use fear against you, and they try to use fear, and they want to save you with this insurance policy. But you can save yourself. I promise, you can save yourself. Which brings me to the last part of the video. I've been looking at whale addresses, kind of looking at the biggest holders of Bitcoin. I avoided centralized exchanges and those types of wallets. And I kind of stuck to just like, you know, the wallets that are actually like probably real people. And as you can see here, no one's really selling in recent history. I don't see a lot of selling going on, just accumulation. If we come over here, kind of the same thing. This guy accumulated a long time ago and still hasn't sold anything, and he accumulated in 2020. And again, billions of dollars worth of crypto and still hasn't sold anything. So they're showing some signs of strength. And these are the ultra rich, wealthy, billionaire status crypto people, just to be clear with you guys. This person is actually accumulating in January. So that's interesting. Never sold anything. If we come over here, you know, we keep going. You can see that this person accumulated a significant amount in 2021, hasn't done anything. I think there was this one dude that was a trader. This guy looks like he's a trader, and he sold some recently, as you can see here. And he's actually at a loss from that one. But, you know, this is the only guy I saw, but it looks like he's a trader. You could clearly see that he's like dollar cost averaging in and dollar cost averaging out. And that's fine. And, you know, everybody has their forte, but that's like the only thing I saw. And then this guy actually looked like he stepped out of the market significantly. But look at all of these purchases. Like, it's about time he took some profit, right? And if we come over here, we actually seen someone accumulate, you know, more accumulation. This is in 2021, but there was another dude that I was looking at that actually recently accumulated. I think it's the last one, not this one here, but yeah, we have this one here. This person actually bought 5,100 Bitcoin on the 4th of this month. So again, you kind of see the general consensus here. Most whales are either holding or accumulating. Some of them are trading, but most of them are holding or accumulating, guys. I don't know what you want me to tell you, which is adding to, again, the case for cryptocurrency has never been stronger. I'm going to be honest with you guys. There's never been a better opportunity for cryptocurrency to exit into something that's actually going to be significant in times of turmoil when, you know, the whole world is kind of burning, and it's not super burning, but economic conditions are very uncertain. And I really, really do not think, and I don't think anyone that slightly, you know, looks at finance in a serious way, I don't think anyone that seriously looks at finance is going to adopt gold. Like, who is crazy enough to buy this piece of metal that is used 60% by jewelers? Like, jewelers, right, make chains for people. It's like a luxury. It's like a luxury thing that makes you look cool, right? Bitcoin is like a thing that you need because you have to have it, right? Think about that, right? Luxury goes first, especially in economic turmoil. Luxury will die first, and Bitcoin will likely be adopted. This is my personal opinion. We're looking at 1 year time horizon, so I'm not doing the short-term thing anymore, anymore at all. If you want the short-term thing, we'll have a group $5 trial. They'll show you some short-term trading opportunities. But for me, you guys know the deal. I'm sticking to the long-term. I'm sticking to where I do best. But yeah, that's it for this video. If you like the quality of this content, hit like. If you don't, leave some constructive criticism. Subscribe for more video updates. And like I always say, if you don't get with it, you will get left behind. And yes, I don't even know if this is actually orange. Oh, I turned it off. I don't think this is actually orange. That's orange. It's really yellow, but it kind of looks orange in the video. Yeah, that's it for the video, guys. Catch you in the next one.